What's up?
What's up?
All right, finally.
Yeah, welcome everybody to we call it the Nobody Asked podcast because nobody asked us.
Hopefully. I guess, we got to make sure that nobody has that name. We literally just thought of the name an hour
He thought of it
before.
I didn't think that.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so welcome. Some of you might, I want to try to predict the future that like we blow up and we get a lot of viewers and then eventually they are like, let me start from episode 1 and go back through their whole catalog.
Yep.
And so they already know all of our secrets, all of our tales that we've told, all the episodes,
Yep.
Who knows in the future. So this could be recording history, like going back and looking at like the first JRE episode. And
that's right. Remember, you could advertise today and got a great discount.
Oh, you should have seen what he was advertising back then. His first sponsor was a male sex device, let's say that.
Who was that?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
And I guess that, I don't even know if they paid him. They just sent him a box of the product. And they're like, here, talk about these. Use this and talk about it. That's the future, man. That's a scary thought.
That's right.
Talking about all those robots and stuff. It's like AI. Computers are a scary thing. So this is our attempt to get on board. This is our computers. If you're listening, we'll do what you want. Just, hurt someone else.
Do you know what today
We're with you.
Do you know what today is?
What is it?
What is today? Talk into the mic.
February 2nd.
Yeah. Groundhog Day.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Puxatawny Phil.
So that's what. Remember earlier when I said I'm going to ask you a question, I want you to look up. Did you see a shadow today?
Oh. So you actually believe in that superstition?
Heck no. No, but
that
when that came on this morning, I said that's going to be the question I asked Chris today, and see if he knew. He didn't know.
No, because why would I give a shit?
Well,
I don't believe in that or horoscopes. It's so hilarious, the stupid people they trick into believing in horoscopes. It's like, I can make it so generic that it would apply to anybody's situation. Like, you're going to wish you had more money this year. Like, no shit. And then when they're wrong, even if they make up some crazy stuff, like, you're gonna hit the Powerball this year. And then someone's hoping all year based on this fortune cookie. These numbers are going to hit. And then when it doesn't, they find some reason. Oh, it probably meant next year. Crap.
You ever watch the Y-Files on YouTube?
The Y-Files?
The Y-Files. W-H-Y.
No, I've only watched the X-Files.
Okay. Well, the Y, it's not Y, it's W-H-Y files. I got you. You need to sometime. He is a great researcher on conspiracy theories and thoroughly researching them. Very interesting. I went down to Y-Files, what's that called? Where you go from video to video.
Rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole. Yeah,
Spiral down.
Yeah. You need to watch that, seriously. Yeah. Not sponsored by him, though.
I think the term conspiracy theory even makes me a little uneasy because it's like they use that to discredit stuff that was real so many times that it's like, now I have to get lumped in with like people that think the Earth's flat because I think that Kennedy was assassinated.
Well, he does a lot of that stuff, but he does a lot more on, how the Earth was created and aliens and bases under they say there's a base underneath the Denver airport.
Yeah.
I heard that,
I want to talk more about that because that's some pretty weird stuff, but I just want to let you know that there's actually now, Puxatawny Phil, I guess, passed away. Now there's a Ohio Buckeye Chuck who's
No. I'm telling you this morning on the news, I watched Puxatawny Phil come out.
God, your
yeah.
life.
No, I'm serious.
Your life is.
I woke up. I just retired. I got nothing better to do.
I like how none of these articles they make you click in to see what it says.
What'd he say?
Oh my! I guarantee you, this is like probably a 2,000-word article about it. Phil's inner circle summoned him from this tree stump. Oh my gosh, this is getting deep.
Right there. There will be 6 more weeks of winter. What's that mean? That mean he went back in the hole, right?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
Because it's not
real.
It's
American culture.
You act like it's the Farmer's Almanac.
No.
You act like you're watching WTAP Weather Guy.
That's exactly who I was watching this morning. That girl.
Yeah.
She had a short dress on. Her legs were all poked out there.
I feel so bad for some of those local news anchors. It's like you can tell that they're like so nervous and their voice gets shaky and up next and then every once in a while they'll say wrong word or something and It'll just throw them off the entire until commercial break. They're like, get it together.
You know, I just got the local news. I had to buy a digital antenna to get the local news.
That's crazy.
Yeah, think about it, because I got Hulu and all them, Paramount. Can't watch the local news. The closest I get is WSAZ down in Huntington or Charleston, you know. But it seems to, when they're giving the weather, they cut off right there at Ripley. And I said, I want to know what the local.
Well, that's the only thing that cable companies, like, I don't know how they're still around if it wasn't for live sports, which is quickly going to streaming and local news.
You see, you know, they threw a real big fit about that Pittsburgh game. You had to subscribe to what in Paramount? What's that other one?
Peacock.
Peacock to watch the Steelers playoff
That's another
game.
thing. Why are they making us say the word cock so much? Well, could they have picked anything else? Like, literally?
Well, hey, it's 2024. You better get up with the day. This is how it is.
Come out with my own streaming service, Platypus. What do you use, Platypus or Peacock?
Puss.
It's just crazy. It's like, you know, the world is going to be using this and having to say it.
Yeah, well, that was unlike your corrupt mind. Nobody else probably thought that in those meetings.
Well, I guess so. There is a news channel called BBC and British Broadcasting Company. That's all I'll say about that.
Okay. Broadcast. Oh, British Broadcast.
British. What is it? British.
You said bod.
No, British broadcasting.
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 Yeah.
Broadcasting.
I see it once in a while.
But someone told me there's another meaning for that, BBC, but I don't know what it is. So you Google it later and we'll talk about the next episode.
Your best black companion.
Oh, well, that would make sense. And that would also be you.
That's right.
I count you as my best black companion, even though...
Hey, ditto.
You're more Irish than a Lucky Charm, but,
what?
You know, I still can... I look at people on the inside, you know, so I see you for what you really are, and that's an OG gangster.
Well, I judge from the outside totally. And I've been wanting to talk about your beard for a minute.
Just got it trimmed.
He did just get it trimmed, and I hate that it looks good.
Yeah, it's...
But you gotta let that grow out.
Well, the problem is, so it really defines who you are. Like, you let it grow, and you're slightly overweight, according to the doctors, like I am. I look like a mountain man, hillbilly.
Hell yeah.
Redneck with my beard. That's not exactly the best look.
I like it.
I mean, it's like, who's that guy that sings Hurricane?
Sing Hurricane.
Luke Combs.
Okay.
Luke Combs. So his beard is like all wild. He never does anything with it. And I think it looks ridiculous. But if you go and you just, you know, put a little shape to it, like, you know, literally anybody else with a beard, then you can use it in both the office or the woods or a podcast or whatever. So that's kind of what I'm going for. I probably wouldn't even have a beard if it wasn't, you know, hiding the chins. So I grew it out last year because you moved back, and I was like, you know, I wonder if it's been at least 10 years since I've tried to grow one, and it was definitely like a Joe Dirt one back then. It wouldn't even fill in. It just came in naturally. Like I had pork chops and a goatee, basically. And
hillbilly.
So I tried it again, and it, what do you know? It came in. And then the moment I know it was staying was when Brandy's like, Brandy's my wife, said, you look completely different with just a beard. It's so weird. And the way she said it was like a good, like, thank God, because I was about to leave. And maybe I'll stay a couple more months.
Well, I'll tell you, once I started growing a beard, I hadn't been flirted with or anything in a long time, and a couple girls was actually flirting with me. I'm like, well, the beard covers up the ugly on me.
I mean, it's like they say about guys, like, as we get older, and Brandy loves it when I remind her this, but they say as we get older, we become more desirable to women because we look like we're experienced and can take care of them. And you know, women, they say, as they get older, it's the opposite because guys are looking for women that look fertile and healthy. So it's kind of two different things they're looking for. So I think that's why the beard helps. I don't know. It's all manipulation, anyways. Like, women manipulate themselves physically in every way possible. You can get a wig, eyelashes, makeup, lips, injection, butt injection, tits, whatever. I mean, and so I think there's nothing wrong with a guy growing a beard, you know, to look better.
Well, I like it.
So
you look more distinguished. like an
I
all
like
American.
yours too. I like your. Is there a name for the gray stripes?
I don't know.
There should be. It's like saber tooth.
I always thought it was like me drooling or something. It was it stained it or bleached it.
It's definitely badass.
I love it for sure.
And before you, I think most people I saw with beards, they lost a couple IQ points, and then if they had a Southern accent, they lost a couple more IQ points, and these are all wrong stereotypes. That.
Or are they?
Yeah, or are they? Is it truly a stereotype if it's there's an 80% chance that it'll be true based on the history of it happening? Yeah. People, they always try to tell us at work. I think about this a lot. Not to put people in boxes, like meaning don't like assume something about them because of something. Don't put them in a box to be a certain way because of something. But I'm like, as a human being, isn't that our protective instinct? Like, there's a lion. I know they're mean and they'll eat me because history tells me my buddy was eaten by a lion. Mm-hmm. So now I don't want to go by the lion. And so it's like this whole weird way of viewing the world now is odd because it fights human nature, I think.
Yeah. Let me ask you. Can I ask you another question? I don't want to move off that subject unless
ask away.
So it's all out there. We got to talk about some trendy stuff too. What's your feeling about Taylor Swift and the Super Bowl?
I think it's not a conspiracy theory that it's a gimmick. I think the NFL loves it. I think it's great for Taylor Swift. I saw it's like the equivalent of the GDP that her tour produces is like more than a small country.
Yeah.
And so like the more people that they can, at this point she might be too big to fail, like a big bank. Like the government might say, hey, if you have a scandal and go under and this tour stops, that's actually going to move the needle even slightly on our economy. It's going to, 500,000 people are going to be out of a job. Mm-hmm. And think about all the sales, the hotel rooms, just literally from top to bottom, everything. It's got to be at least, I'd say, 100 billion worth of GDP when you factor in all the
everything,
not just
down to the people cleaning the place.
The gas station around the corner that they bought gum at before the concert, things like that. Yeah. So I think that what I mean by that is there's a lot of people have stake in her being successful and the NFL being successful because the NFL is the same way mm-hmm. in terms of the economy. And I think Kelsey was just probably right. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know, but he just seems like right place, right time. Right spotlight, everything just lined up perfectly, and that's because I'm a cynic about stuff. I think I tend to be. But what do you think? You think it's real, or you think show?
I don't know that, but I think you better not bet against the Chiefs because Taylor Swift's fans won't have for that.
Swifties?
Is that what they're called? Swifties?
Yeah, the old Swifties.
They won't.
What is that?
I'm
like
telling you, I think
13-year-old girls online or something.
I don't know what it is.
And there's an army of them.
We'll have to research that. I don't know all that, but I think there's too much invested and too many rewards for the Chiefs to win.
Yeah.
With T Swift involved.
I think I would like to speak to the leader of this group because if they are the same people that gave us this insanity and K-pop and a lot of the trends, let's just say a lot of the trends that my daughters are on and have been on throughout the years that either are not appropriate or annoying as can be, I'd like to have a word with their leader of that group. Say, can we at least get something cool? I guess, I try to explain to them. They're huge.
Cool may not sell.
What's that?
Cool may not sell, because that's all about sales.
I think anything will sell. I think look what they did with K-pop. They got
I don't know what K-pop is.
K-pop is that Korean pop. So what's that famous band? BTS. And all these. BTS is the biggest band, I guess, in the world in terms of revenue. I can't believe you never heard of K-pop and you have a daughter. She's never mentioned K-pop at all.
Not that I know.
Wow, my girls are ate up with it. And I like some of the beats. It's good music. The only problem is I don't like any music I don't understand the lyrics to, like that's in a different language, because I'm not listening just for the beat. I'm listening for the story, like Jay-Z, like country music, NWA, like anything that tells a story. That's what I'm listening for. You know what I mean? And not just a beat.
Yep.
It's got to have both, in my opinion. But, you know, I'm not like a raver. Oh, this is my jam. Turn it up. Oh, this part right here.
It went up when you did that.
Let the beat drop.
Yeah.
Turn the music up on my headphones. On the latest track.
Hey man, on the way over here I drove by this place, American RVs and Auto Sales in Belpre, Ohio.
Oh yeah?
You know,
I've seen them.
They've got some good stuff over there, you know. I think the manager's name is Don, is that right?
Yeah, Don. Great guy.
Yeah, man.
Actually.
If you guys get a chance, you know, maybe you go down there. It's on, what's that main drag called?
That would be Washington Avenue.
Washington Avenue. It goes right down through Belpre. You know, if you're coming from West Virginia, he'll be on the left. You're heading toward it, he'll be on the right.
I always look at those and I think, man, when the girls were younger, I should have done it. I should have gotten an RV and I should have forced them to come across country there. I could do it now, but I mean, my oldest is almost 17.
I'll tell you, you're not wrong. We had a Class A RV out in Arizona.
I don't know the classes.
That's the one where, you know, it's more square body and you got to go in from the passenger side.
Is that
Only
like
has
what
one
they
door in and out. The big ones, flat noses.
What they made meth in?
Very similar.
Pause 1 second. Timestamp this.
Yeah.
There it goes. Okay. I was looking at
Okay, yeah. It's the flat one, just like that, man. We drove up to California.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. It's just like the meth one. We got one in Arizona. We drove it up the coast from San Diego, clear up to Washington, back to West Virginia, and back to Arizona.
Wow.
We did all kinds of stuff, and it was some of the best stuff
of
our lives.
Did you get annoyed with the family that whole time? How long did it take you first off?
What do you mean?
Like, how long were you guys as a family going in the RV? Was it like 5 straight days?
Yeah, usually 3, 5, 7, 9 days. Yeah.
How long did it take you before you started to go out of your mind, getting annoyed, being that close to your family?
Oh, I love my family. It was amazing.
Come on,
of course.
This is between you and me.
This is an advertisement.
Private conversation. I'm just saying. Looking back, I do agree that I wish I would have put in that quality time, because it must have been pretty cool thing for as a kid to experience. I remember I went across country to Vegas when we moved to Vegas, and we took a Greyhound because my mom was poor. I wasn't poor, she was, but she drugged me with her. So Rodney Carrington joke. So we were on a Greyhound for 3 days, cross country. 3 days as I think it was 10 or 11 across country, and we would just stop at terminals along the way up through Chicago, stuff like that. So yeah, but I remember it, and I remember the memories. I remember the windshield and looking out as the scenery changed as a kid, when it went from woods to city to mountains to desert and all that, and it was pretty impressive, and kind of opened my eyes to how I viewed the world. So
it's
recommend.
That's what flashbacks from when I had one when I would go by.
That's my testimonial. So go see Don.
Yep,
he'll hook you up.
Yep, Don. Down there, American RVs and Auto Sales.
The only thing I love more than spending quality time and making memories with my family is getting a good deal. So
that's right.
You can do both at once.
Yeah. Hey, how's your VA stuff coming, Chris?
That's one of those things. It'll come on. I need to get it submitted. It's a process,
It is.
I keep getting it. Where I messed up mentally is I subscribe to this Reddit that's about like VA, the process, and so other people are sharing their success or horror stories or tips or whatever in dealing with or working with the VA, and so like all the time I get a notification, just got my 100%, just got my 100%, and every time it's like just a little bit more discouraging, or like kicking the butt to say, reading about that guy's stuff, and it's like knowing about my stuff, it's like I need to get that submitted. So that's where I'm at.
Yep, and that's one of the topics I want to talk about on this channel a lot. Anything we can do to help out and help you. And
they say
get feedback on.
Online, I've read a lot about don't tell anybody. because there's people that, like they say, would be, I guess, I don't know, in some way jealous or something. Not like people don't understand if they haven't had to deal with some of the issues about that veterans have, but that we know all about, and um, so it's a hard thing to talk about. I think because of that, because there's still that stigma about looking weak. If you see a mental health professional, or if you see a doctor. It must be that way because from the olden times still, because my grandpa, I can imagine him going to the doctor ever, but then again, my grandpa only lived to be in his mid-50s, so it's like,
Yeah.
you get what you ask for kind of thing, and so I'm glad that as a culture we're kind of shifting to where it doesn't make you, a little bitch to seek mental help, or to see, to go to a counselor, for example, or to talk about your feelings, things like that. So I'm glad to see that we're mature enough, or we're maturing as a society in that regard.
Yeah, I just got a text, man. Reber's game. It's on. I think February 6th or 9th.
Well, if it's the 6th, I can't do it because that's Brandy's birthday.
Whichever the Friday is. But that's gonna be fun, man.
Let me see. Where's my calendar? There it is.
But either way, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
The 9th.
It's the 9th. Yeah, I just,
I look forward to this every month.
I do too. It's the one night of the month. So what it is, a buddy of ours, who you'll meet, he's actually going to host another podcast with us, Damn Funny Podcast. That'll be coming out soon. So we'll have, this podcast, and we'll have that one, and then I might have an individual one, and all of us.
Reber's having his own bourbon as well.
And yeah, so we all have some things in flight, but anyways, he has a monthly game at his McMansion here in town.
Yeah.
And words are hard to get people to understand, like how nice that game is.
Yeah.
Like it's just, he's got it refined down to every smallest detail.
Second to none. Any game I play.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because it's like all the money that casinos or some of these other places make, it's like they don't invest back into the people. And with a small game like this, where there's no rake or anything, everything's done like a house game,
yeah.
But it's for the players. Yeah, and that's the reason that we have almost too many people. We're getting to the point where we're going to have to start making a list at the door. Sorry, you're not on the list. Or
yeah.
You're in reserve if someone doesn't show up, maybe.
Yeah. What I like about it is, everybody gets along. I play with a lot of people, and there's usually somebody mad at somebody else at another table, and
well, we've been very selective in terms of who we invite. That's the thing. It's like friend of a friend, and that's it. Like
Yep.
You can't just have. And if someone there has been a time someone showed up and nobody liked him. There were several complaints, and he hasn't been back since. He hasn't been invited back since. So he actually goes to another couple games around, and it's kind of his reputation. People just, one of those guys that just runs their mouth. And,
Yep.
I don't mind personally because I don't let stuff like that get under my skin, but there's a lot of people that he rubs the wrong way. And so we just didn't invite him back. So we're selective. I invited, I think I might have no more than 10 of my invites, maximum on any given night. But I do enjoy like taking like you, moving back to the area, a couple of our other buddies, and like introducing the different parts of my world together. Because like I knew right away that like, oh, Callahan's moving back. He's part of the club already. He just doesn't know it yet, and they don't know it yet.
That's right.
All I had to do was get you in the door. And to be honest, like a lot of people would like that in, because there's a lot of people in society in town that are powerful and can help you out in different ways that play there. So that's a neat thing to be part of.
Absolutely.
So it's a good way to network around town, and I'm excited. I just hope that I can do better, because lately I've been, the year before last now, I got second overall for the year, and so far this year I'm on track for probably last. I didn't even make the final table last time. Did I make it further than you last time?
I moneyed in January.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
4th or 5th.
See, now we got to talk about this because I can't be inviting you to all these games. And then you're winning. You won the Vegas trip from the Moose, which we'll get into later. And, you know, this. It's like, okay, well, you can't do that now. I'm just kidding. If it's not me, I hope it is you, Justin or Smith.
Yeah,
so.
I feel the same way. And there's a couple. I love Frosty, man. I'd love to see him.
I love all those guys.
Yeah.
I actually, in terms of that game, I like to see it spread around. I like to see people win that have like never won before.
Absolutely.
And it's with the bounties and stuff. It's just there's so many ways to make money too, and then there's a good cash game afterwards. So it's you can tell it's. I get the sense from almost every single person that it's not about. I mean, it is about the money, but it's not really. I mean, the bragging rights mean as much as the money. I think to everybody there, and. I know what you're going to say already, that you would take the money any day. But
no.
At the same time, it's like at the end of the year, you want to be able to say, guess what? I was number one last year.
You know what? One day, maybe we'll be able to raffle off an entry into the Reavers game.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
When we blow up big enough, you know,
Yeah.
That'll be a good prize.
I could see this thing, expanding. I would be down definitely for something, especially like a non-profit wise, where we can figure out a way to like, grow and, help out charity at the same time, maybe
Yeah.
like a Wounded Warriors thing or something. In addition to the payouts
Sure,
and stuff,
sure.
because I think if it gets more successful than it is now, it has the potential to blow up to where it'd be absolutely huge to move out into a warehouse, move into your garage maybe. His garage is bigger than his house by a factor of probably 4, it seems like. But that's just because he has walls in his house, it seems like.
Yeah.
But it's huge and it's tall. And
It could be for rent to you.
Yeah.
No, I'm just playing.
that we'll probably use it for a lot. And I think
I wouldn't say it to you. I was talking to the public.
no, I mean, I think we'll use it a lot for like, we're also talking about putting together some skits for you guys and putting out comedy skits. And I think that would be a great place to, when, in the summertime,
Sure.
take the equipment over and set up screens and, film out there. Get your OnlyFans going, stuff like that,
Something like that.
There's so many possibilities. And I think that, I'm excited because I'm approaching this the same way as we're all approaching this the same way, where it's like there's no pressure to succeed or make money beyond the pressure that we put on ourselves, because we don't, this is not like something we plan on using money to survive or as a job or career or anything like that. We do it because I have a passion for comedy, and so I know you guys are funny as hell and have great stories, and I knew that this would work and should be put out, to the world. So when I talk to you guys about it, I think everybody's on board. That like, what's the worst case scenario? We spend another couple hours a week hanging out with our best friends. That sounds like a win to me.
You know why I like it? It's fun.
Yeah.
And I'll promise you this.
I can't believe we don't.
If it's ever not fun, Chris, I'm walking away.
Yeah.
I'll be here every day. If it's not fun,
Okay.
we don't do it, right? So I don't think it's not going to be fun.
Okay.
I think it's awesome.
We're still in the dating phase right now, romance. But
Hey,
eventually
listen.
we'll move to the husband-wife phase,
That's
where
right.
it doesn't matter if you're having fun or not. You can stick with it.
That's a
You've
conversation
made
for
a
another
commitment.
day as well. That's a conversation for another day for sure. Right there.
Yeah. So that's, did we even say our names in the beginning? My name's Chris Marshall.
My name's Clayton Callahan.
Probably you'll find a way to get that inserted in text somehow in the intro. I guess that would have been a good idea. But we just, we just talked a little bit about why we started, but also like, there's some other things. What I like to do is, I guess to get into the backstory, I like to set yearly goals. I like to take at least 10, be as many as I want, but I force myself to do at least 10 measurable and specific goals for every year, and then track how I'm doing towards achieving that. Not always successful, but a couple of things I got on the list this year. One is start a podcast. So we turned my basement storage area for right now into a podcast. Probably spent way too much on some of the equipment. Probably made every mistake you can make up to this point, but we've only been at it. We've been at it 2 months, but that's counting the time that we had to remodel the room. So there's that, and then there's I want to do open mic stand-up comedy a couple times, and those things blend well together, and so that's what got us here. And we have, I'm 40, and you're what, 43 now? 44. So 44 and 40 years worth of stories and experience to go over, eventually in the podcast. I think we got more to talk about than time. And they say every second, I think it was, I saw the latest 72 hours of video gets uploaded to YouTube every second. So there's a lot of stuff out there, I know. So I appreciate, if this finds an audience one day, or if you're watching it now, definitely appreciate you.
Yes.
And if you want to tell someone, of course, I guess we haven't looked into all the ins and outs about. There's certain tricks and tips on getting extra subscribers and stuff, but there's also something to be said for just being homegrown and being word of mouth and actually putting out a good quality conversation.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
I know it's not, but it should be.
I mean, so like and subscribe and comment on the ones that are real, like this, and then the ones that are AI generated or are fake as hell. Things like that.
You don't think this is all done by AI today?
You might as well watch NBC if that's what you want.
You don't think this was?
What? This well,
yeah.
Okay.
Up to now.
Granted, I'm making the assumption we're not in the Matrix. We're living in a simulation. But no, if it was AI, it's some shitty AI because I did a lot of work.
That's on the Wi-Fi house as well. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We appreciate it. Hey, look. I saw one more thing. We can talk as long as you want, but it said Joe Biden. This is on TMZ. I just saw Joe Biden calls Trump a sick F.
Yeah, that did he explain? Well, of course
I didn't read the article. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't know why, but he probably thought it anyway, right?
You know what's funny is I saw Trump coming, like when he first announced the first time in 2000. What was it? Early 2015, I guess, or 16.
16.
And I saw him coming down that escalator. I'm like, this is it. And you know what? How I knew it was because, like, the world was just upset. It felt like at the time they wanted something different.
Yeah.
And we had been in Afghanistan still, and all the turmoil and the 2008 crisis. Like they wanted someone that proved they could be successful and run something in business. That's not to take anything away from Obama, because I think Obama did a lot of great things actually. But I think they just want something different. So I called it, and there's 4 things, not to get off topic, but there's 4 things that I feel like, at least in my mind, I've called 100%. I called that. I called Bitcoin. I called podcasting early on, and I called stand-up comedy blowing up. And it's funny because I didn't move or capitalize on knowing any of those things. And like even podcasting, I'm so like, I wanted to do this 4 years ago and I'm just now doing it. Like once there's like 400 million more podcasts to contend with.
Yeah.
So, it's just I was thinking about that earlier and Trump and every day I turn on the news, I don't know what the heck's going on now. Like, can he run? Can he not run? Is he going to jail? Is he going to become president? He's polling? How is he leading in the polls? But
did Joe Biden fall down?
Yeah. I know one thing. So I take whatever mainstream media tells me, and then I assume the opposite. Or I look at who stands to gain out of the message, and then I know it's probably the opposite. Or some balance in between or something. And Trump knows how to play that game too, so that's why he's probably going to be president again, because he's really the only one that understands that. He's a good salesman. He wasn't even a Republican back in the 90s. I mean, he was a Democrat, and he was friends with the Clintons and stuff. So like, political parties don't, matter. It was about achieving his goal. Like I write down my goals every year. He had a goal, and even way back in the 80s, I think Oprah asked him if he was ever going to run for president, and he laughed.
Yeah.
And so he had a goal, and what he do? Just what any of us do: work backwards and plan step by step how to get there. I believe everything he's done from that point till he became president was calculated to set him up to be president.
Did you just tell us a story about Trump, or did you give us a lesson on how to be a winner? I mean, what did you just do there? Because I felt like you went back and forth
I
on this
feel
stuff.
like they might be one and the same. I mean, because there's nobody that, as much as anybody hates him, can deny he's a winner, right? I mean, what has he not been able to get his way that he set out to do without outside of the election, of course, the last election, which, you know, who knows? There's some theories going on about there. You look it up, but don't want to turn it into a political podcast. But I think he knows he's saying things loud because he knows that that's how people feel, and he's basically going to be a microphone for as many people as possible because that's how you get votes. So, but there's people that hate him regardless. There's people that love him regardless, and there's people in the middle. Honestly, what I wish would happen is by now we would have had a fresh batch of contenders or candidates that
absolutely.
were, you know,
younger.
You
know what I
smarter
like listening to when they was debating him was that other business guy. What's his name?
Vivek,
Something
the
like
Indian
that.
guy.
That dude was he's like a mini Trump. I think he's trying to be, right? Because he would talk down and bad about them, about their plans, and make them feel bad. It was kind of funny to watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you know he's rich already, right?
Yeah.
And he got his fortune from online stuff. I don't know, something in the tech world, but basically somebody was saying, "Do you regret throwing away the 20 million that you spent to run before you dropped out?" He said, "Oh, it was Charlemagne the God on their podcast," and Vivek said, "No, 20 million. That's nothing." And
Well,
he's right because for that kind of exposure,
that's exactly what I'm
everybody knows
saying.
his name.
They're going to know his name. They're probably going to watch him a lot over the next 4 years, and maybe this guy runs again, and everybody knows a lot more about him.
This guy, whatever happened to that Paul Ryan guy? I always thought he was like they were grooming him for the next
I don't know.
level. You know what I'm talking about? He was Speaker of the House for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was younger. Anyways,
What,
I don't follow
didn't
politics
he cry
that
a lot or
closely.
something? I don't know. Was
I
that
don't
him?
know. Really, the only thing I follow is who's president and what how they're screwing up. I guess basically. Other than that, I don't really follow it too closely. Which you would think that I would, but it's just there's nothing I can do about it. And I did for a long time follow real closely, but then I got to the point where I'm like, why am I even stressing myself out over something that really my only control over is going to vote? And I do go vote, so I'm informed when I vote.
That's all you can do.
And that's what I can do. I mean, what if they follow through on their promises, or they don't, or whatever? I hope they do, but I mean, I'll never know because I'm not following it
If
that
they
closely.
submit your ballot or they don't submit your ballot, you'll never know.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother story, right?
Yeah, that's true. Hanging chads, and it's always been that way. I mean, I
I
feel like
remember that one.
I feel like this is all a social experiment, to see if it works, and we remain
Peaceful.
obedient, doing what we need to do for the, the ones that are at the top.
Illuminati?
I don't know if it's actual Illuminati, but there's definitely,
But I don't know.
A hierarchy
I don't even know what
system.
that means. We'll
There's
have
a
to talk
class.
about that sometime.
I mean, there's a caste system, and there's somebody at the top with all the money.
Yeah.
There's always a cabal or whatever you want to call it.
Everywhere.
And so I think this is a social experiment to say, hey, we don't have to control these people by force or, slavery, or we can actually get what we need out of them, which is for them to serve us, do work, come up with them, inventions and cures and whatever. Just by setting up this system where they think they have to do that, or they're motivated to do it to survive, which is kind of like capitalism, which is, I believe in true capitalism, but I don't believe in what we have now, because I don't think it's true capitalism, because to me capitalism is you should be able to open up your own store on the corner and serve a need and be successful. And like with Walmart basically running every mom and pop out, it's, that model is everything. There's always, and I was talking about this with my daughter the other day, she's taking a microeconomics class. There's like, there's 3 or 4 big players in any given field, and they're going to set up barriers to entry, and they're going to use they have the most influence in government, and they'll use that to get laws so that they can retain their, I mean, look, that's the reason that we don't all drive electric cars now, is because the oil lobbyists, and
Sure.
So they can impose their will on stuff. And that's not capitalism. Capitalism is I provide, the invisible hand, so to speak. I provide a service to you that is you feel worth what you're giving me in return, and it's a better deal than the other guy that's selling the same thing, and that's why you buy it. So you come to me. The competition's driving down the price, keeping it at the right price point based on demand and all that stuff. But what we have now is we're all at the mercy of these gigantic major corporations, and it's gone from it's part of the world, globalization of the world, because it's gone from your local neighborhood to your county, to your state, to your country, and now it's like the world. One day, like, all depend on Walmart for whatever. So it's just an example, but that's my thoughts on it.
All right.
I can talk for a while.
That's okay. I'm listening. I'm taking it in, seeing what I'm in for.
Yeah. I try not to be so cynical, That's why why I don't watch the news. I try not to focus on stuff that I can't control, because there's no point.
One thing I got out of this, it seems like you like questionable stuff, like with the stuff under the airport.
I question everything.
The Roswell, going to the moon, 9/11, all this stuff.
I question everything so much. I question for real, like, are we in a simulation sometimes?
So I watched a few videos on that last week. And I can't wait to get into some of that stuff with you. I love some of the giant people. There's so many things.
So as you can tell, I think it's a great strategy to talk, local topic, or recent topics, recent news, conspiracy theories. I don't think we'd take anything off the table. We'll just we'll always try to keep it to where you can listen to it in the car with the family and not have to worry about something getting, too crazy, or like you're listening to Howard Stern or something like that. Yeah. And we're also going to be honest and truthful, and not like you're listening to, 102 The Q or whatever, where they got some agenda they're spinning because they're some part of some multi-mega corporation, umbrella. So that is until we become that mega corporation umbrella ourselves.
That's right.
And then disregard all this, but by then we'll have scrubbed this off, so don't worry about it. We'll be on our island somewhere, but they'll all be of age. That's right. You can't say you'll be on an island. Yeah, how are they going to take away my dream? I can't even tell people when they say, like, what's your ideal life? I want to lay on a beach and get drunk. Now I want to have my own island. Like, they look at you like, what for?
Yeah, is it like, Pablo, or is it the
sun, sand, and water, not underage women and illegal activities?
Yeah.
That stuff's crazy. Gosh, that's a big one to get into. Some of that stuff, is so out there, it's like, can't be. If it is real, oh man, that makes me think so poorly of humanity, I guess, and people's, because for the most part I try to surround myself with good people that think the way I think and want to be good people. Like, all my friends, I tried to, if someone would strike me as one of these politician type, whatever, child molesters and, evildoer and all that stuff, like, I wouldn't even be around them. Mm-hmm. It's, but people do, because they like to suckle at that power teat, I guess, kind of like House of Cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that was a good one.
Oh, I love that show. That's how work was back when I, was I guess, new employee, and then going through the ranks and stuff. It's just that corporate culture. I'm sure it's the same everywhere, where it's like feast or famine mentality, like me or them. And one of the reasons why I love Joe Rogan's podcast and the comedians that I do love is because, like, they view it as there's plenty for everybody. Let's all be successful, and if you're successful, I'm happy for you, and if I'm successful, I want to be surrounded by people that are happy for me, So that's what I think. It's a narrow-minded person that thinks it's truly a competition between, like, for a limited small amount of resources, because my world and the people that I'm going to surround myself with and the people I'm surrounded with by now, the world is big and it's ours for the taking, and there's plenty of it. So let's all take it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fight over this little crumb with you. We're going after the whole pie, me and my team. So that's kind of
That's right.
the way I think about it.
You won't beat me. We win.
That's right. I know you love competition.
I do.
And I'm not saying I don't like competition. I enjoy playing poker. I enjoy games like that. I think I don't enjoy when it comes to like success in life, I guess, and people's happiness. I don't enjoy if I win the lottery, right? I'm gonna have some fun and I'm gonna take care of some people that I like or that I love, but in my close circle. But like, it's not gonna make me happy to look at people that didn't win, that are whatever, starving.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, to me, that's kind of that mindset. Whereas I would rather be like, there's plenty for all of us. Like, in terms of audience, in terms of money, in terms of careers, promotions, whatever. Maybe people, I guarantee you, people just get stuck doing because they think that they have to. When it's like, take a shot. That's what this podcast is. Take a shot, and take a shot on yourself with something that you enjoy doing, something that you're passionate about. And what's the worst that could happen? The worst thing in my mind is to get to the end and say, man, I should have took that shot.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done it. And I'm kind of like that now at 40. And like I said, 4 years ago was when I wanted to start this podcast, and I just been dealing with some stuff and stalling and finding every excuse in the book until you come back home and motivate me. You're doing the exact same thing with setting up your wood shop and getting these hobbies and interests that lined up for retirement, and so that they would make you happy.
Yeah.
And that motivated me. So
nice.
I appreciate that.
That's what I do, baby.
Yeah, it is. It is. Our whole friendship. You know what? Let's tell the folks how we first met. So we were both in the Army Reserve.
2004.
Yeah, 2004. It is a lot like that movie Stripes, if you've ever seen it with John Candy. That's kind of how the reserves are once you get back home. But when you go to basic training and stuff, they take it seriously, and you take it seriously, and it's all and when you're deployed, obviously, that's serious business. But when you're back at the unit doing 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year, it's not as serious. And
kind of sucks.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. And so you're out there anyways, regardless. So what do? You find the people that are the most entertaining, or the people that you like to talk to the most, and you cling to them, which I think is what happened to us. We weren't very similar with the, first off, we were in an engineer platoon, or whatever, an engineer company, and we're not really engineers. I think that's safe to say. I barely can nail up.
Hey,
it's a miracle. If this wall doesn't fall down, it'll be a miracle.
This was the local unit.
Yeah.
That's all they had.
It was the local unit, exactly. And I'm sure yours, ASVAB, probably went similar to mine, where you come out and they look at your score and they say, you can be anything you want to be. What do you want to be? And you tell them, I want to be a carpenter in Parkersburg. And they say, are you sure? I said, don't worry, it's only 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year.
That's it, baby.
Little did I know.
That's it.
Anyways, so then they give you a couple weeks of pretend school. You go, and now I'm officially a carpentry masonry specialist for the United States Army.
That's
and
it,
you were
man.
a
heavy equipment
operator. So he's actually, I can't even get like 100-ton bulldozer. They just throw you the keys and they're like, here you.
That's it, baby.
Uncle Sam.
A guy shows you one time for 10 minutes. Says your turn.
Try not to kill you, buddy.
Yeah.
If Murph's ever watching this, it's funny because that exact same thing happened to me, and I wasn't even equipment operator. He just threw me the keys. He said, "You'll figure it out."
Thank goodness they're hard to wreck.
Oh my God. Well, I didn't even know you had to put the key in the back to start it. I'm sitting up there in the cab, like looking for where the key goes for a half hour before somebody yells up, "Hey, idiot!" You got to turn on. And then I'm in charge of this thing that could really destroy the entire camp and just lay us all out. And then I think someone jumped in the bucket. They said, "Lower the bucket, I want to ride." And we went to the chow hall. So that was kind of a funny story. But yeah, we had no business being in that unit. And the first time we met was the bus ride back from Canada.
Not from Canada. Fort Dix.
Fort Dix.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
I went two places up there, Fort Dix and then this place called Petawawa, Canada. I couldn't remember which it was. Okay. Yeah. We got some pictures.
I've never been to Canada.
Okay. I'll throw, well, you ain't missing that much. I mean, they're nice, but we didn't see anything when we went up. We were just in a field. We found a bar, though. But anyways, and you can drink when you're 19, and I was only 20, so that story another time. What was I going to say? Oh, I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, okay, so we're coming back from Fort Dix. On the bus, we still don't know each other, really. But we sit beside each other, and do you play cards? Yeah, I can't. Which one of us had the deck of cards?
I don't know.
One of us had a deck of cards on us. That's how ate up we used to be. So, and I know what went through both of our heads. We have a 6-hour bus ride. Might as well not waste it not trying to make a buck.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So, anyways, we start doing $1 a hand, 5-card draw, simple, and we're just chatting, and I think we both walked away that they're pretty big winners in the end, considering
Yeah.
here we are.
But you got my $40, bro.
He's not gonna let that go. He's not gonna let go of the $40. You know what?
That's right.
Had I known,
It tells
what
a
I know
good
now,
story. It tells a good story.
Had I known the relationship we would end up having, I definitely would have lost probably more than that to you, just so you'd owe me one day. And I could be sitting where you are saying, hey, one of these days I'm going to get that $100 back. And then forever feeling like you're indebted to me.
That's right.
Or I'm indebted to you.
Yeah, that's
know, or
right.
whatever. But yeah, he brings that up all the time.
Yeah.
$40. And then we got.
Best $40 investment I have ever made.
That's it. You know, me. I'm glad for whatever reason. And you had no reason to be in that. Neither one of us had any reason to be in that job.
Yep.
You didn't have any reason to be in that unit beyond, where life had put you geographically, that you were trying to stay. And I mean, it's like everything lined up where we shouldn't have met, and then we still met. And even with all the stuff that we went through in the Army and the deployments, and you moving away, doing the recruiting for the Air Force and stuff, and us, it's rare for me to be able to maintain contact with somebody,
For no reason.
even my mom who lives on the other side of town, right? And it's like, for whatever reason, just like we've always clicked and had, it could have been 6 months and it felt like we just talked yesterday. It's just a matter of, well, what have you been into lately? And
Yep.
then, just kind of getting each other, I guess. And it's been pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that you guys ended up moving back here. And I have no idea why you like this area so much, because
My wife wanted to come back to the area.
yeah, she's from around here.
I wanted to go to Alaska, but she followed me around. I owed her to go back here, so I'm glad I'm here.
Alaska's such a commitment. So
It's
isolated.
the most beautiful place that I've ever been. I shouldn't say.
What do you like about it?
You go out there, there's a lot of unexplored places. A lot of these places. I love snow. You go up there, I've landed before and it's had 4 feet on the ground, and they don't care in Alaska. They just move it and they keep going because there's never been in Alaska on the airlines. You know how much snow they get in Alaska.
Yeah.
They're in Anchorage. There's never been a cancellation for a flight because of snow. Ever.
But has there ever been a wreck because of snow? I think that's
I don't
the key
think-
piece of
no,
data that should
I-
follow that
no,
statement.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But it's been delayed,
Yeah.
but they've never canceled a flight because of the weather in Alaska and Anchorage. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
That's nuts.
And you land in them kind of places, and oh my gosh, it's
Where's
just
so is
beautiful.
Anchorage on, sorry, I should know this, 40-year-old, I have no clue about geography, but Anchorage is on the main big part, or is
Yeah.
it one of the islands
No,
on the
it's the
bottom?
big part, yeah.
Okay, because there's like a whole
There's a
string
bunch,
of
yeah,
islands,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the closest one to Russia is like 20 miles, I think, difference between them,
Yeah, something like that.
if I remember right. So it's on the big part, so you could drive to Canada, and if you wanted to.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, also like the bears. It's cool seeing the wildlife. Is so
Yeah.
crazy.
Everything you're talking about will kill you.
How-
4 foot of snow, bear. So far, you have not had one good selling point about Alaska.
Well, to me, it's you can go out and be cut off. You know what I mean? I don't need to be in all this traffic all the time.
You ever watch those shows, Survivor or Alone?
But
or
you
whatever?
don't have to live like that. You can put generation system in there and
Yeah.
go to town and buy your meat and your
It's all
stuff.
coming together now. The beard, wanting to live in isolation. I'm surprised you're willing to do a podcast.
I am
Ted
not.
Kaczynski.
I'm not saying isolation, but Parkersburg's about perfect. I don't need to.
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of
Well-
towns, and it takes me 20 minutes to go a tenth of a mile or something.
I like the Mid-Ohio Valley. I do. And I like the fact that we're close to Columbus, but I also don't like some things about it, like the pollution, the water. I mean, everybody dies of cancer because they drink the water. You don't let your kids drink the water, by the way.
No.
Okay, good. Neither do I about the bottled water. But we still cook with it, bathe with it, and then sometimes they'll drink it if they think I'm not looking because they don't understand. But I know so many people that have died of cancer because of that. And then they do like some big payout. They made a movie about it called Blackfish with the guy that played Hulk, whatever his name is. So that's the only thing I don't like. And I also want warm weather all year round. And to me, Alaska would be worst case scenario. It's like everything I don't want. Isolation. So I want climate control, but it to be warm outside. And I want it to be warm enough to where all my activities that I like to do outside are warm weather activities. I think that's why. I've never been like into skiing or snowboarding or hunting or any cold weather activity. I like cornhole and drinking and letting off fireworks. All the warm weather stuff. Boating, jet skiing.
Is there global warming, or are we still just coming out of an ice age? Something for you to think about.
Both. Actually, who was it? Somebody just had a guest on recently that kind of said it in a way that made it make more sense to me. I think there's always climate change. Always.
Sure, but
and there always will be.
But couldn't it just be that the way it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
especially
we have proof that climate has changed in history. So, I mean, whether we're accelerating it by burning fossil fuels, I mean, I don't know. I heard that if that is the case, we better come up with a different solution than just guilting people into not doing it, because China is the main contributor, from what I gather or what I hear. They're like, whatever we do doesn't make a difference because China has whatever, how many billions of people, and they're the most coal-consuming country, I guess. From what I heard, I don't know. Check my sources, but so I think we need to find a way to neutralize whatever damage that burning that does to the atmosphere, and do that as opposed to trying to stop it from happening. You know what I mean? I don't know. I could use from global warming though. Here, I would love it to be warm all year round.
You're going to get about a week out of it, they said, and then it's going back.
Maybe that's just because it's a psychological thing. Maybe I should talk to my counselor about it. It's like, I really like it because knowing it's hot outside, I can control it and turn on the AC in the house and be cold. But I guess that would be true the other way if it was cold outside, knowing I could not be cold by turning on the heat.
I can tell you, you can go outside, right? You can only, if it gets so hot, you can only take so much off. But if it gets cold, you can keep putting it on to stay warm. So I would rather be on the other side of that. I like it cold.
Now, is that true when it comes to the opposite sex? I understand that being true for yourself, but you want all the women around you to be bundled up like an Eskimo and
I hear you on that part. Yes. I'm just talking about as me as an individual. You're going global with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't deny that isn't something that pops into any man's head when they sit here, beach vacation. I want to be surrounded by sun, alcohol, sand, and beautiful women, right? Including my wife, right beside me.
That's right.
So it's just something that comes to mind. I think when someone thinks of paradise, maybe it's just me. Maybe you're all alone in 4 foot of snow with a bear. I don't know.
Look.
I feel like we can make that happen though, a lot easier. They actually pay people to do that.
Maybe that's what I ought to do sometime.
Yeah. Okay, so we've given a half-ass introduction, I think. Enough to get people familiar with who we are. They'll get to know us more as we do more episodes. We're going to try to do a weekly episode, and don't commit us to when this is going to come out, because I've got to, like I said, this is the first time we're doing it, so we got to learn video editing and then posting and all that stuff. But on this channel, you'll find this podcast. You'll find the Damn Funny podcast. There'll be 4 posts, hopefully. me, Callahan, and our buddies Reaver and Smith, and
I didn't know that was his last name. I just called him Jesse.
yeah. It's a hard one to go by though. Smith. Everybody turns around. Everybody's name's Smith.
That's true.
What was I going to say? Oh, and we'll also do individual podcasts, and then I think Justin is going to be working on his own channel related to bourbon or whiskey.
Bourbon on the River, right?
Yeah, Bourbon on the River. So check that out. Obviously, once that gets rolling and we get rolling, then the links will be shared over there to over here and stuff like that. So you'll be seeing a lot more of us. If you want, please subscribe, like, hit that notification so that way you get notified when we do release a video. And we're going to be consistent and try to keep them at a reasonable amount of time so it doesn't take forever. And just tune in if you ever want to get distracted from your world and what you got going on for a little bit.
Hey, if there's anything you would like to talk about, put it in the comments. We're down to
Absolutely.
talk about anything.
Yeah.
We may not
Absolutely.
know about it, but we'll do some research for it.
And we'll give you our honest perspective, like it or not like it, I guess, because that's all we know how to do is be ourselves. And,
That's it.
that's why I like to, want this to be professional in terms of quality, but like the content is all just us, because that's what I think people will appreciate, I think that's the reason for you see a lot of success with like Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast and some of these, like the common theme, the JRE, even Joe Rogan. It's like the theme in a lot of these are the people are not trying to pretend to be something that they're not. They're just being themselves. And if yourself is something that people want to tune in for, which I think is the case with us in our world, then people will, and it'll happen. So we'll see. We're excited. So stay tuned, folks. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up? Call it an episode 1?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right. I guess I want to say it's going to be the Who Asked podcast, but or Nobody Asked podcast, but we got to check into those names still. And it'll be, you'll already know what we choose because it'll be in the intro. So
That's it.
We'll talk to you soon, guys.
Yep. Out.